Oh, 2, 3.
Okay.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Woke Wednesday. We have a setup here for you. It is a blaze. TikToker finally caught faking mental illness. We're going to watch this one. We've got Clown World in case I can get to it, but probably not. This is a 36-minute video, so I want to make sure we got the time and the effort put into this one. Alrighty then, so let's get into this. Okay.
I'm dissociating now, and I wanted to answer the question.
You can answer it.
Oh no, somebody else here. Sorry.
Oh, no problem.
A lot of people see her as the face of dissociative identity disorder, DID, or at least that's what most of her audience insists on calling her, giving her the title of an official spokesperson or leader of it all, which unfortunately seems to have already become an undeniable fact at this point. And if you're active on TikTok or YouTube, you'd have probably seen she's made videos covering just about every possible aspect of the disorder, probably even more than an actual specialist in the field on the same platform has managed to put out. So ablaze, does that mean she therefore can't be faking? Have you watched one of these videos, guys? Do you know what's about to happen? But look, while I don't think it's that clear cut to answer, especially looking back at the last time I covered her on my channel, we really dug into some of the horrible things she's done in her past. Because in the last video, we covered her stealing altars and bullying people in the DID community to just openly encouraging self-diagnosis, while her story about the disorder seems to change every time she talks about it, all of which highlights just how problematic this is. So, having a bit of suspicion about this system, in my opinion, honestly, a reasonable and valid response. But before we get into it, let's get this video seen. If you guys can leave a comment down below saying hello, I'll reply to every one of your comments. Plus, it will help the algorithm push this video, and I would seriously appreciate that.
I'm a trauma holder. I dealt with it badly, not anywhere near as destructively as a lot of other people in the system. And now people on the internet have called me class clown, the person who will play playful tricks. There's a lot of back and forth and banter between me and Kaya that's often shown publicly because we're usually relatively close to each other in the front.
That's my character. I'm the trash man. I come out, I throw trash all over the ring. And then I start eating garbage.
That's a real hot album, homie. I wonder who wrote it. Oh, shit.
I'm probably the person who fronts next most often, other than like a small group of littles, to Kaya, you know.
Hello everybody, my name is Chloe and this is another video by Dissociated. Hello everybody, my name is Sally.
Hello, my name's Nadia. It's nice to meet you. No. Hi, so
My name is Nina. Good evening everybody. My name is Jade. I have already done 2 videos on this channel. Well, this is the most stupid thing I've had to do in a while. You do realize this is literally just talking to a camera, right? This is stupid. This is so stupid. I feel like an idiot. Hello, my name is Ruby. I am an ex-persecutor turned protector of the system, the dissociated system, apparently, as we're now called. Stupid name.
In this video she uploaded yesterday, Meet Mermaid Altar, a non-human altar. And the thing that I always have a big issue with when it comes to this certain type of content is the fact that
I always take my headphones to listen and then just turn them off in between time.
Okay.
bring them over here. That way you can actually hear some stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do something. Alright, sorry ladies and gentlemen, our sound is like really low and I'm just trying to figure it out. Okay, good, that went away. That was annoying. I was just wanting to say, I mean, you totally can tell that this person is faking it. I mean, they're not even trying at the point of what we've seen so far.
You're off. You're like way off of your camera. See, it's not centered.
Should I go down?
Well, you yourself need to turn a little bit. You were. Oh, there you go. That's how you started, and I mean, turning your body. Okay, there you go.
Okay.
Now I can see better.
But yes, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's like she's got the one that's like, oh, this is just so stupid. Oh my god, this is so stupid, you know? And it's like, if you have multiple personalities, for one thing, you're not going to be able to have the time to think about even setting up the camera to record them.
Yeah.
And not all of those personalities are going to be on board with being in front of the camera.
Well, yeah, and it's like she acts like this one thinks it's stupid, but in reality, you're going to get the ones that just refuse to be on. I mean, they knock the camera down, they'll be like, no.
Right.
I mean, it wouldn't, it's not realistic.
Yeah, I'm not particularly familiar with what they call alters and stuff. I'm assuming multiple personalities is like the same kind of thing. But what I am familiar with is like, what is interfering?
I don't know. What is that? It's interference with my.
Yeah, just keep it as far away as possible. Tristan, can you come down here in a second and turn down a little bit? It's weird, I was thinking, but I think it is, what
Turn
I
on
feel
what?
like is
I don't even know if you can hear it now.
demonic possession. Yeah, usually you can.
Okay.
Demonic possession and ghost possession and everything. That's what I'm familiar with. And so if it's anything like that, then there's definitely not going to be any. They're not going to want anything to do with it.
Well, exactly.
I need you to turn down that sound.
Tristan.
He can't be doing something. Sure you have the right thing.
Yeah, I know, I'm trying to. Well, it's already like way down. Like, it's got one.
It already was.
Yeah.
It still is now.
Yeah.
What the hell's going on with something? Go ahead and grab my headphones. We're gonna try something. Just be patient with us for a second, please. We're not gonna test something here because I don't want to get the feedback from this either.
No, I don't either. Are they charged? Interesting.
I hope so. They have only had to be charged like 3 times. So, but
They're
I
only
wanted to
one.
connect to that.
Okay, they're only one bar down, so.
Okay, so then do the drop down. Select Bluetooth.
Screw something up here.
I know. Select Bluetooth. Turn it off. Turn it back on. And then select the beat solo. Actually, no. Hold on. Hold on. No, you want to connect it here. Never mind. Roll that shit up. Sorry. Be patient with us.
Connect where? On there?
Here. Which means we have to make sure that your input is not anything else. Okay.
I think it was the laptop and the mic.
I know, but you know how when I hook these up so you can hear, you get that feedback, right?
Yeah.
On your ears.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna have to listen over here to make sure that there's not.
Yeah.
I'm checking the settings and stuff. Give me a second. The mic should be fine because you're gonna mute the mic. Can you hear yourself in there?
I can't hear anything right now.
All right, we'll give it a go. I'm gonna listen to this. Okay, so go ahead and mute the mic and start playing it, see if you can hear it from there.
that. In this video, she then talks about like her disorder and talks about what it's like having a non-human alter, which apparently is real. And funnily enough, on the exact same day our video went up, she actually happened to make her big comeback to YouTube after disappearing for almost a year. I promise we didn't plan that. And if I'm not mistaken, might have actually been one of her longest breaks. And now, well, she's back.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was working. Now we just got to make sure that this is working. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was
When you're not talking, it's picking up on something else.
No one was talking.
Nobody's talking. That's it right now. Nobody's talking. It's picking up on weird things.
I mean, I don't think we got going to here.
It's picking up on voices.
I know.
I don't know if it's running interference from his stuff over there.
Right.
When we were talking, it was fine.
All right, so what we're going to do is just, I'll talk, try to turn it, mute it right away after I'm done.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, sorry, just bear with us. We're going to get back onto the video. So I'm going to unmute this so that you guys don't hear feedback.
There's even more to discuss, though, as she's recently made some new claims to her DID narrative. I guess she had some time off to practice, which is where we come to one of our first major updates since her return, where she said that some of her alters have fused into twins. What? Don't believe me? Just watch.
First of all, where did we go? Why did we go on a break? If you weren't watching our YouTube shorts, you might have missed this. So back in August of 2023, we were dealing with a crime. A stalker managed to find our address. We still have no real idea how. Flew from another country and intended to get into our house and essentially turned up outside our door. And we've been dealing with the police in the criminal case since then. Obviously, that was quite re-traumatizing given our past and our history, which we're not going into, but unfortunately the feeling of being watched or filmed, stalked, a lot of watching and being on camera and stuff like that all became even more triggering than it already was before. Essentially, an altar was starting to form from the fusion of Kaya and Mara. That altar that still wasn't completely themselves yet because the fusion was still happening, split because of the new trauma and resulted in 2 new altars, and we weren't entirely sure what was going on. Those altars and what was left of Kaya and Mara in both of them, because they were both mid-fusion when they split, continued to fuse, and they ended up being sort of almost the same person, but not quite, with noticeable differences, but still almost the same person, and we're not entirely sure whether they're also fusing or not. Anyway, the situation is extremely complicated, but essentially what came out of it was 2 altars that are both from Mara and Kaya, who are twins. That is Soren and his sister. Soren is the only one who will be making videos for you. He's the more stable of the 2, and Soren is our current host. To make it super simple as we can, Kaya was fusing with Mara, new trauma happened, that altar, which would have been Soren, split, and there's...
Disconnect
All right.
the Bluetooth, then
Bluetooth?
which is going to be down here.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, bear with me.
Is it off? You can do that first next time.
Okay.
It's going to suck.
Yeah, because I have to wait for it to connect again and everything. I'm still doing it.
There you go.
Is it okay now? Is it?
For the love of God,
All
I
right.
have no idea what the hell it's picking up on.
It's not. It's not this.
Bring it over here. Bring it on this side. Let's try it over. Sorry, guys. This is really weird. I'm really sorry. Let's try it over. Sorry, guys. This is really weird. I'm really sorry. Let me turn it off from here.
All right. I was just trying to say. I mean, this woman is a really good storyteller. I mean, that's what I am seeing in this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
She's just telling this thing of like, oh, well, this is this, and and that's the one that's going to be talking. And it's like,
yeah, it's kind of like characters for my like, I think they kind of bring up like characters from like a sitcom or some sort of like a soap opera or something, rather than an actual mental disorder. It's like, oh, look who's coming to play now, and like, it's like, no, that doesn't feel
exactly.
Right,
This is by no means a what do you call it? Mental illness.
No, just attention seeking.
Yes. All right, let's get this. Try this again.
Okay, so mute.
Two new alters. Soren is the new host who came from Kaya and Mara.
After what feels like forever to her followers, well, finally, boys and girls, another season with fresh characters to round things out. Can't wait. All right, sure. If this is a big hit Netflix series, I would totally understand the hype. But as much as some of you might think otherwise, I just can't wrap my head around why anyone's acting like discovering new alters is some kind of big milestone. Although I'm not saying it's not important, because of course, it obviously is. But I gotta admit, I'm kind of taken back by this particular situation. Especially when you see how so many DID content creators these days just sort of magically introduce new alters out of nowhere like it's nothing, purely for the content without really giving any clear explanation of how it even happened. And what blows my mind the most, by far, is how they can just easily announce it in their videos with so much enthusiasm. Which, sure, would be kind of cute, I guess, if they were revealing a new boyfriend or some kind of pet and not a disorder or even an illness. Who would come on to a YouTube video like very happy and announce they now have cancer? Oh, guys, chat, leave a pog. Leave a poggers in the chat. I'm so happy. You know what I mean? It doesn't really make any sense. And I guess it almost feels like there's this unspoken expectation that everyone's just supposed to nod along and be like, wow, that's amazing. Congrats.
Great question. Thank you for asking. So it varies for system to system and alter to alter, but in my case, yes, it is. So both Chloe's eyes and Nin's eyes were brown. Both Kyle's eyes and Nina's eyes were blue. I, as Kaya, have a mixture. I have sort of a blue-gray on the outsides of my eyes and brown in the middle. And I like to think that that's from taking from all four, both sets of colors. That's not how it is for everyone in our system who's fused, and it's not how it is for every single system out there. But for me, yeah, that's how our brain visualized it, I guess.
It's certainly a weird and wacky world that we're living in. This is something I also kind of want to break down later in the video, like why having a huge number of alters seems to be turning into some sort of competition and why it's also becoming more normalized for people to brag about it. But for now, for those who might not fully understand how new alters or fusion works, it's actually a very complicated process. Who would have thought, hey guys? And definitely not something you would be telling your viewers about right away, as this happens when different parts of a person's psyche slowly integrates into one collective self. And it usually takes a lot of time and therapy for that to be achieved.
Key points about fusion in DID: not immediate. Fusion is not a quick process and can take years of therapy to achieve, as it requires deep exploration and processing of trauma associated with each alter, requires therapeutic intervention. While fusion can sometimes happen spontaneously, it is usually facilitated through therapy where alters are guided to communicate, understand, and eventually integrate with each other.
And the first thing that would probably cross your mind if you were going through something like this isn't, oh, I should let everyone know on my YouTube channel. Think of the views. But probably something more along the lines of, oh, fuck, what is happening to me? Because let's be real for a second. You're dealing with something so unfamiliar and confusing. Surely your first instinct wouldn't usually be to want to broadcast it immediately. I don't know. Is that a weird, wacky take? I don't think so. And rather,
I don't undo it.
Yeah, mute it on the computer.
It is.
No, it isn't. There you go. Now it is. That way, maybe we're not going to get the feedback.
Yeah, I'm hoping. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is just outrageous. The way that
Sorry. Sorry.
Now I got the dogs.
Does anybody else want to say anything while we're waiting?
Yeah. Have the laptop hold too.
Not a good night.
No, it's one of those nights. Just nothing was charged and trying to make this work.
I can edit these into videos better.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I honestly don't know what the feedback is picking up on. I really don't. Because
I'm betting it's his laptop.
It's really creepy though.
Yeah, it is.
Like, far away. Well, it's not doing it now, I don't think. I don't hear the squeakiness now.
Yeah.
So. But the dogs are coming in loud and clear.
I have a couple of ones. No more mice. Mice.
Okay.
Look for one's like $20, the other one's like $100.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
All right. Now with this, I kind of lost where I was going with that, with everything going on, but the fact that, like he said, it's more of a program than anything else, because she's not. I mean, the way that it's being said is more of like a fixed, put together situation.
Yeah, it's extremely fake. It feels really fake. It feels like it's like a scripted deal. It kind of reminds me of the girls we used to go to high school with that were like emo, and they had this going wrong and they had that going wrong, and they were hypochondriacs, and they just had all these dramatic things happening to them all the time.
Exactly.
And it's like that's how it feels to me. And it's like I've seen people that have multiple personality disorder. They're typically a little bit older, but it's very different. And there's a lot of flight of ideas. Like the shit just doesn't make sense. This stuff is really put together.
Yes.
Like for the people that I know, it was just all of a sudden they'll just start talking about something really extremely randomly, completely unrelated at all to the conversation.
Exactly.
And then they'll kind of like wake up in the middle of that and be like, oh, I don't know why I said that. I'm sorry, I don't know why I said that. And it's like that's not happening here.
The other thing that I think of too is it's just like what we've seen with the fake Tourette's.
It's exactly that, right? Exactly.
Because it's like we know somebody that has Tourette's,
right?
And the way what she can do and what she says.
And sure, she would laugh about it a little bit, but for the most part, it's just kind of like it was mostly the painful tics and stuff, and it was like she's like, oh god, like just like I wish this didn't happen to me.
A lot of them just do it for attention. It's just stuff that they're blurting out.
I know they'll say something like, "Oop, oop, I didn't mean, oh my god, it's so crazy, right, that I just said that," you know?
Well, there is one though that has that happen that I do believe is real.
Yeah, but she doesn't really say, "Oh my god, I can't believe I just said
I
that"
know.
either. She just kind of sits there like, that just happened. You know,
Yeah.
like she doesn't really try to say,
I don't remember
"Oh."
what her name was.
I don't really remember either, but she was on the Dr. Phil show.
She was on the news too.
Yeah.
And
I mean, she just laid into
Yeah.
this.
yeah, Dr. Phil, I remember that one. Yeah.
What are we gonna
okay.
do today? It's just not a good day.
I got you.
I hope Wednesday's better.
Friday, you mean?
Yeah.
Today's Wednesday.
God.
Yeah, no. All right, let's just get back to this, because, yeah.
To take a step back and try to make sense of it yourself first. Surely, right? Anyway, the biggest thing I want to get into right now, as this is the thing that really stood out to me the most, is just how Dissociated claimed her alters were in the process of merging when a new traumatic experience came into play. Well, she did mention something about a stalking incident. She didn't really expand on that, but for her sake of the argument, okay. Let's assume for now that it's true. So, according to her, when a fan showed up uninvited at her home, that apparently triggered what she called a fusing splitting event, which in her case caused two new alters to appear. Basically, she got rid of the toxic ones in her system, including her demon alter, Mara, and replaced them with Sowen and their twins, Mike and Sally.
I'll be nice. Just let me. One of the questions that Kaya was going to answer is who's different in the system? I don't think that any of you know who I am. I know that Mara, that I was before, made a TikTok once, but I've fused since then. I fused in 2020. Shocker. Me, Soren. So if you aren't familiar with me, I'm the current host of the Dissociated System, and I am the one most often making videos for the. I am a big personality. I'd say I have the biggest personality out of all the people I've been before, with the exception of perhaps Mara, because Mara had a big personality. But then again, so did Nina. But I feel like I'm louder than Nina was. Anyway, I'm definitely more confident in myself than any of the people I've been in the past. I'd say on par with, or perhaps more confident than Kyle, actually. And that's something I'm happy with. That's huge growth for us. That's positive for me and my system. And it means that I'm more able to protect myself and my system because I know who I am and nobody else can tell me who I am. I know what I stand for. We've always had strong morals, but my morals, I will not budge from them. If I know something is wrong and I know that I don't stand by something, I will not.
Every alter fusion and split is a reminder of every time we almost didn't survive. Yup, total BS from Dissociated. This is not how fusion works at all, whatsoever, not even close. Also, fusion is not the death of an alter. Alters cannot die as they are all parts of one whole. The way fusion happens with Dissociated is always so random and dramatic, and doesn't seem to actually be from therapy and processing trauma. It's always used as an interesting thing to make a video about. This is one of the reasons I think Dissociated's DID is full BS. Gotta mix up my characters for a video. Everything's too stale now. Oh, I know. I'll say they fused. This does so much damage to the actual info on DID and the public perception of it. This makes systems afraid of fusion and healing. This is anti-recovery BS and should be taken down. This also frames DID as some daytime soap and increases the chances of teens faking it to be cool and people not taking it seriously.
Multiple merging, huh? What a groundbreaking phenomenon. Definitely something worth adding to the books. But after looking through some Reddit discussions where people have shared their own experiences with fusion and what they understand about DID, along with doing some research ourselves, what she's saying, well, it doesn't actually make any sense at all. Because fusion, by definition, is supposed to be about different parts coming together as one. I mean, that's kind of what the word fusion means, right? Not breaking apart and creating even more, which is the complete opposite of what she's describing in her videos. Something that not only I have noticed, but of course, many of us have noticed.
Filming became a PTSD trigger for us. Is in their newly renovated / painted filming room in all the videos? That does not make any sense at all, my dear. Obviously, all that recording was exposure therapy because who needs legitimate treatment? Can alters fuse in DID? As you know, successful fusions can only occur after the dissociative defense barriers that serve to separate the alters have been significantly eroded by psychotherapy. This happens when the alters begin to accept each other and to develop a sense of mutual self-identification.
Complicated to get into. We've never had anything that difficult to understand happen in our system before. So your guess is as good as mine as to what the hell happened there. But essentially, the way the brain was trying to process and heal things was interrupted, corrupted. New host is Soren. I'm Soren. I have Kem and Red with me as well, and Mike watching me very closely. But this is mostly Soren at the minute. Hi, nice to meet you.
And like I mentioned earlier, this entire recovery process, where the barriers between different members of plural system gradually fade away, only takes place after deep emotional work. So it doesn't just happen overnight, not in such an extreme way where new alters suddenly just pop out of thin air. And I think most importantly, it's not something that would usually happen as a direct response to trauma. That said, it's so unreal for someone to just say they've finally fused with such a short window, especially if the person isn't in intensive therapy.
Multiplicity and Plurality Wiki says, often mistakenly called integration, fusion is the recovery process in which the barriers between one or more members of the plural system are fully reduced. Her acting like fusion is a bad thing is only contributing negatively to her mental health. It's a sign of healing, as everyone in the comments has said, and I agree with everyone else. This misinformation is absolute bullshit, and she either needs to educate herself or stop being a mental health advocate. I once told someone about her, and they asked if she's purposely trying to spread misinformation. Sometimes, I don't know, maybe it's not as if they have taken down their old videos.
All right. Yes. Now I fully say that she is trying to lead misinformation. All right. Yes. Now. And I mean, the fusion itself that she tries to say.
I think that to me it just sounds like somebody who kind of like wants to dabble in the whole, oh, I'm trans, I'm this guy now, this is the main host, but doesn't really want to commit to that because they found a way to, swap characters, so to speak. I think it's kind of a way to experiment with that. Like, oh, I'm a guy now. That's the main thing that's controlling me. And and then next week it's like that's not working out. Well, no, I'm a different girl. Different characters. And
exactly.
It's just somebody who hasn't like really settled into who they really, really want to be anymore. And now they found a way to make money off of it and gain a following because of it, and so it's like, why should they change at this point?
Yeah, they don't want to because it's a giant show, and the people that are watching her are also enjoying the show. I think a lot of people know that it's not real.
I think so,
but they're enjoying this giant presentation show that she's putting on.
No, like I said, it just caught me dissociated. It's in DID, dissociated identity disorder. it's quite a bit different than dissociation, which is something that even I've experienced where I'm just like not present, you know, in the moment, and I just like I'm going somewhere else, you know. But dissociative identity disorder is something else entirely, and this ain't it. You know, that's like, you know, like I said, I think they used to call it multiple personality disorder, but
yeah, it was.
It's basic. You gotta stay here. You gotta stay in front of this because I'm nursing it. But whether she's trying to undermine it like on purpose, I don't know. But she definitely is not doing them any service. That's for sure.
She's not. And she's not doing any of that community any service either.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. It's like, I mean, does she spend any of her money? Does any of the money that she gets, does she donate it to, you know, researching this or helping other people with it or anything?
I'd like to know.
There is a part coming up that's an extreme red flag to me, and it's like this supposed renowned psychotherapist that like actually enjoys her work and sends people to her channel all the time. And
oh God.
I'm thinking, what do you know her? Do you have like an in with her or something? Because there is no way that any like actual psychologist, psychotherapist, anything of that nature is ever going to say that this is a good thing.
Exactly. I know. And I mean, if there is any that will, then they need to be like black flagged.
No kidding. No kidding.
I mean, it's ridiculous. That's how bad it is.
It bugs the shit.
I know. It really does.
It's like, this isn't mental health. This is just
no.
This is theatrics, you know.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
Videos with the misinformation in them, they've addressed it, which does virtually nothing.
I also wanted to point out the fact that she said traumatic experience suddenly happened around August 2023. But just 6 to 8 months later, she's already introducing new alters into her system, which I don't know about you, but when you seriously think about how fusion is supposed to be a slow, carefully guided process that requires actual healing, a basic piece of information that, by the way, anyone can easily verify with a quick, simple Google search, well, it doesn't seem right. And this is why it's so difficult to take this new narrative of hers at face value. But wait, before any of you get mad or start leaving harsh comments, I just want to clarify that I'm definitely not claiming to be an expert. You don't have to be. Like I said, all of this information is just one simple Google search away. And look, I'm just someone who, like many others, have had serious doubts about what dissociative is sharing in her videos. Again, no one can say for certain that she is faking. But we're just pointing out things that seem questionable and honestly highly unlikely. And look, ultimately, it's up to all of you to decide. The conclusion is yours to make. The thing is, with as much influence as she has, probably more than any other TikToker I've ever featured here, Dissociated has become a big source of information about a pretty complex mental health disorder. So it's understandable to be a little bit curious and maybe even skeptical. Because let's be honest, if you are someone who takes her advice seriously and applies it to your own life, well, I think you should also ask yourself whether what information you're getting is one, reliable, or too helpful, or if it's just adding more confusion to an already misunderstood disorder. And I'm not just referring to dissociated, but literally anyone who creates similar content. Now, let's put this into a test and see if the goal that Dissociated claims on her website actually matches what she portrays in most of her videos. If you go to her mission page, there's a section where it says this.
Dissociated speaks from authentic personal experience, being professionally diagnosed with dissociative identity disorder in early 2017. We combine this intimate lived experience with extensive knowledge and research to create scientifically supported, validating, and easily digestible content on a human level.
Okay, look guys, I won't lie. I could barely get through just one paragraph before cringing because, well, as we've seen, so many people follow her platform religiously. But once you actually start looking into the details, like the stuff she says about integration and fusion, well, it's crystal clear at this point that a lot of what she shares isn't exactly accurate. And there are some noticeable inconsistencies in her story that I would like to point out. If she were just some small TikToker fishing for attention, maybe that wouldn't be such a big deal. But the thing is, she's definitely not. She's not just this typical influencer that we often talk about on this channel. She's actually way more than that. She's built this massive platform because of her disorder, and whether people realize it or not, that also means there's a business side to all of this.
I'm a doctoral level clinical psychologist in the US who treats DID patients. Your videos are phenomenal. I frequently recommend them to my patients. I keep thinking you would be a wonderful therapist and noticed psychology textbooks behind you. Just the other day, I was able to realize that a patient has DID even though she did not endorse any symptoms of it other than conversing with other parts. I knew to ask about that because of your description of being asked about your inner dialogue during your hospital intake. Thank you. You are an inspiration to many. Dr. Rochelle Gredvig.
Still, on her website, you'll also see a bunch of testimonials from different people and even some professionals who for some reason seem to be looking up her content. This one doctor, for example, has been recommending Dissociated's videos to her patients to help them learn more about DID. But honestly, knowing the history of Dissociated and that she has been stealing trauma stories and personal experiences from others, well, that's definitely a big red flag.
We actually spoke to a friend in the legal profession about what we could do regarding this about a year ago. Unfortunately, stealing someone's trauma histories isn't a crime. Yes, she has profited from it via YouTube, but we don't have enough physical evidence to prove that she actually stole ours and several others SRA, RA, MC survivors' stories. The challenge was also that she is in a different country. The only people we feel sorry for are her parents, who have been painted as monsters that were either involved or completely neglected her during the so-called abuse.
Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Debunking DID, where we debunk the stigmas and inaccurate information that surround dissociative identity disorder. So this video is about whether or not DID is real, and I bet you can guess what I'm going to say, but don't worry, I'm going to try and not be too biased because everything I'm using is coming from recent scientific and medically accepted studies that show beyond any reasonable doubt that dissociative identity disorder is real and its physical effects on the body and the mind. DID has been officially recognized and accepted as a psychological disorder.
Remember guys, we're still talking about an internet figure with no formal qualifications or training in mental health, and also someone who got expelled from university and then on top of that raised funds telling everyone it was for her to go back to her studies. But well, nothing ever came of that, and it seems like, well, she just pocketed the money instead of using it for her education. the money that people gave to her, she ended up just basically stealing the money. I mean, there's really no other way to.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, this with more and more of the information that comes through, you can tell it's a scam. This woman has no idea how to do any of this. I mean, for somehow she was able to convince a few people.
I don't believe that person. See, I only heard this the other day.
Yes.
But after seeing the little testimonial from that lady, that
the
said
doctor?
That the doctor that said
Yeah.
that she recommended. I don't believe for a second that was real. I don't think that was a legitimate person.
I would hope not.
And if it is, there's a serious problem because I don't have any medical experience in that field, and I can see it. I mean, it's like, but I do have experience with con artistry, and it's like I can see that, and like I don't know, it's theatrics at best, and it's kind of not even good theatrics. Like I said, it reminds me of the girls in high school that used to just have all these things wrong with them.
The drama queen.
The drama queens,
Yes,
and it's like,
I mean, by far.
I don't know, it kind of like just really bothers me, but
yeah,
like you can only hope that she finds some sort of like a spiritual path in which she like comes to the light of this, because it's not going to end well for her.
I know it's absolutely ridiculous, the fact that what she's capable of.
Because she's always got perfect hair. She's got her makeup done all the time and everything.
And different colored hair.
Yeah, different colored hair. It's like the people that I know that have mental issues, they're pretty disheveled. A lot of them are afraid to take showers on a regular basis.
Yes. And they wouldn't have the whereabouts to color their hair different colors.
Right. It would go unnoticed for a good long time. I don't want to like speculate on everybody's case, but just in general.
The generalization, yes.
Right. And with any kind of mental disorder, that's how it goes. Even with depression, that's how it goes, and it is some sort of form of manic depression. So yeah, I don't like, I look at her eye set, I look at she's not shifty, she doesn't look around all the time, she's pretty pristine in front of the camera, and that's the first red flag. It's like
it kind of reminds me of how what's her name took over the comment section.
Yeah, right, yeah. So
and how she was
just kind of like pristine in front of the camera, but just fake,
Yeah, fake as can be, exactly.
And you'll find out that she's swindled people out of quite a bit of money for different things too.
Well, that doesn't shock me at all.
Yeah, I didn't hear about this yet, but there's another thing that she's gotten a bunch of money for, supposedly for some sort of like a legal case or something. But I didn't realize she was such a big YouTuber. I didn't realize she was such a big influencer. That's a problem.
Yeah, that is, and it just shows that anybody can come on and do it.
Right. And what about the people that are really suffering for it?
Exactly, the ones that really want to do it, that are trying to put the effort out there.
They can't get in front of the camera.
No,
they can't, because you just don't.
Exactly.
Who's gonna have the time in a manic episode to set up the camera and go and look pristine in front of the camera, and say, oh, this is what's happening in our lives. Who's gonna, you can't do that. And there's a reason that you don't see very many people in that position, because they can't.
Exactly.
And then you got this person that's like, just, what is the term? Grifting off of people.
Yeah, I haven't heard that term before until today.
It's like grifting.
Yeah, I know.
It's like,
they went over it.
Did they talk about it here?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see. It's like, what does it mean? Small scale swindling.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's like, basically you get in on something so you can get a little bit of money or attention or, followers or whatever the payoff is.
Attention is the biggest one.
Yeah. And well, there's obviously money too.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying for like this woman. I
Yeah, I
can
know.
see,
I think it's money. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. It's definitely, she's in it for the money.
Because otherwise, why else would you look so pristine in front of the camera?
It's true.
It's like I don't even do my makeup and stuff half the time before I go on the camera, and it's like it's too much. It's like
It is.
she's got this perfectly painted background or green screen or whatever she's using, and they all happen to just be okay with sitting in front of it and talking.
And it's
about
too over the top every time.
Yeah,
yes,
right.
At some points it would, but not every single time
Right.
would it be over the top.
Oh, these very, very, very complex characters.
Yes.
Very complex characters. Well, it was a little bit like this one. It's a little bit like that one. And yeah, this one was also kind of like, really out there. But I think that I'm a little bit more out there, and I'll do anything that I can. It's like,
yes,
I don't know. She knows just enough to be dangerous, and
for sure, no doubt.
not enough to be helpful. She's not helpful at all. I
No.
don't see anything in this content that's actually helpful to anybody, other than that it's going to make people like me not believe in what anybody says, and people that are really suffering.
And it's going to show the
information.
fakes.
Right.
It's going to be like, this is what to watch for when you're looking at a fake.
Right. And like, yeah, the real people, like, they look quite a bit different. They act quite a bit different.
Yes, they do.
There is a manic property to it, and
like I said,
embarrassment there.
We had a friend that had the Tourette's.
Yeah.
And if you watch her compared to like all these people coming on saying they have it.
Yeah, like I said, there's always a level of embarrassment there. Like,
yeah.
It's like, oh God, I can't believe I just did that, and it's like, I can't believe this just happened to me in public, even if even if it was just the twitching that she did, it was like, for one thing, you could see the muscles here that would just
oh my God,
just rip. I'm surprised that they just never tore. And
oh, that would suck.
And then there's always like that level of embarrassment, like, and I knew, like I said, a couple people that had identity disorders. Yeah. And it was always like that. They would just be talking and have a flight of ideas, or talking about something else entirely that had nothing to do at all with what we're talking about. And then it come right back to it, and they would be embarrassed.
Yeah.
And so people that have that level of embarrassment are not going to go in front of the fucking camera.
No.
And just be, like I said, pristine the whole time.
Exactly.
Like they're characters. They're characters that she's made up.
Yeah, all of her characters are in order, are in like perfect sync.
Right, and nobody argues with each other on camera. Nobody says, "No, I don't want to do this today." Nobody does that. I know. Where's that conflict? Where's the messiness? Nothing's messy. So then people that actually have this, they're looking at her and going, "Well, how come I don't even have that together? I can't even do that right."
And that just screws them up more.
Exactly.
Yes.
So it's like, this sort of stuff really bothers me. God, yeah. God, it irritates me.
Because these people are so fake, you can just be seen.
Yeah. It's like, it's never that clean.
No, it's never.
And it's never that pristine. It's always messy. It's always a little level of embarrassment. I don't know. It bugs the hell out of me.
Oh God, yeah, it does. It really does. All right, let's move on.
To sugarcoat it. So yeah, obviously she's definitely the perfect person to trust for mental health advice, right? Right, guys? Definitely. I mean, look, it just kind of baffles me how a professional who's spent years in the field can just casually tell their patients, oh, I've got this favorite YouTuber and you'll learn more from them than me, which honestly is just freaking insane, because it opens the door for a lot of misinformation. I think, honestly, that goes with anything. If a doctor is telling you to watch their favorite YouTuber, what? For anything? That's insane. Instead of listening to them. And honestly, that could easily end up making things worse for people who already are struggling with this disorder. And not just those who are properly diagnosed with DID, but also potentially influencing young, impressionable kids or teens to fake having it. as we've clearly seen a rise in that in recent years. In fact, there are even more posts from many people sharing how everything started for them after discovering Dissociated's videos. Like this one who finally came forward and shared their own story about how at age 12, they started to get the idea of pretending to have a mental health disorder. They also openly admitted that it all started after, you guessed it, watching Dissociated. Who saw this coming?
Former faker here. Don't bash me, please. I've changed. I faked a multitude of disorders. DID, autism, PTSD, you name it. I probably faked it at some point. The reason I faked it was quite simple. I was depressed. I was lonely. I wanted to KMS. I felt like that faking disorders so I could get the attention I needed was the only thing I could do. I relate to the OP here. I'd like to say, and I'm deeply sorry to anyone here that may be POC or intersex, but I faked both of those as well. When I stopped faking, I felt like a horrible person. I was. Like the OP, I had all those outrageous things. I had 700 plus alters, emoji pronouns, 1,000 plus word trigger lists, and all that. I want you to know that a lot of the fakers may be seeking attention. They just want to be a part of a community. Of course, that's not justifying faking disorders, but just know that. It's wrong to fake disorders. If you felt like I did, it's better to get professional help. Trust me. I discovered DID when I was 12 in 2020 through Anthony Padilla's Dissociated video and binged all of their videos while I was depressed during lockdown. I was going through, like a lot of people, an incredibly difficult time of my life. Suicidal, isolated, getting back into self-harm after being clean for years. I was introduced to the concept of PTSD through Dissociated and started realizing that I had it. I've been diagnosed with nothing and refused to self-diagnose in any way. Trauma was resurfacing. Relatively shallow things like bullying and childhood emotional neglect. I followed Systems on Instagram and joined Discord to finally be able to talk to people again. The servers were filled with unstable teenagers. It absolutely sucked. We were each other's therapists. They were constantly telling me how they wanted to kill themselves, telling me about their self-harm, their eating disorders. There were a decent number of suicide scares and alleged attempts. One day, someone started saying they had DID. Yes, I joined Discord at 12. My parents knew but were not very invested or interested in what I was doing there. When my addiction reached its peak, they were extremely aware as I was pulling all-nighters to speak with my friends, would get drunk with my phone/laptop under my pillow, etc. They were concerned but never forced me to stop using Discord. I'm not sure what their reasoning was, but I think that since they had never encountered anything like my Discord addiction, they weren't sure what to do. Edit, to be clear, they did take measures to help me. I'm sure they felt like they did the best they could. I had a therapist for a few months, only she wasn't great, and I never felt like I could open up to her. I had my laptop/phone taken away a few times, but it didn't help much because I'm pretty sure I was experiencing what could be described as mental withdrawal symptoms.
Look, even though we often joke about people like this and we often can't stand them, especially those who are just doing it for clout, it's still hard to ignore the harm it causes. And the person sharing their experiences here wasn't just looking for attention, because they were actually extremely vulnerable here at that time. As they said, they were depressed, and that led them to get drawn into this dangerous trend. Sadly, though, social media has become a key contributor to mental health issues in our society, and this situation is just clear proof of that. This kid probably also got caught up in this because they were looking for love and acceptance, something they might not have found in real life relationships. And by labeling themselves with this disorder, they thought they'd finally be understood. And anyone who challenges that would easily be seen as insensitive or, my favorite word, an ableist. So telling everyone that you are suffering from DID became a very powerful tool, as it gave them a way to gain sympathy and validation from others. And Given that this post was from about 2 years ago, I'm willing to bet more teenagers are still falling into the same trap, especially since Dissociated hasn't changed her perspective and continues to suggest that people should bring up any signs of DID they think that they have to their therapist and expect them to diagnose it, which really isn't how things should work. Now,
Sergio Costa update for you. He has submitted his appeal to the European Court of Human Rights. This is over the outcome of the intellectual property hearing back in 2022. On Twitter, he said that he'd hired a lawyer who was a leading and foremost a specialist in human rights law. He's actually hired a local Portuguese lawyer who specializes in gender and gender transition law, and he specializes in taking those cases to the European Court of Human Rights, as well as real estate law. So not quite what Costa tried to imply in his tweets, but he said that he will refuse to comply with any outcomes or orders made by the UK court or UK judges. So when we do win the quantum proceedings and hopefully get some damages, he says he's going to refuse to comply. It means we'll need to go to Portugal. So please keep sharing and donating to our fundraiser.
moving on to something else, you've probably also been wondering what happened to that case she filed against Sergio Costa, a guy she used to work with on her videos a few years ago.
At first it was fun, then scary, then fun again, then spooky, but in a fun way.
Well,
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, so I have one thing that kind of just trumps all other things here. There's supposed to be a main person. Like, it can be split into two or more other personalities, and those personalities can have distinct histories or whatever. But there is still, at least died, I think, one main person that this is happening to. And that person has experienced some sort of trauma that made this happen. And that person is supposed to exhibit signs of distress, confusion, fear,
Yeah.
Where is that?
Exactly.
Like everything's so calm and perfect and put together. And where is the person underneath all of this, the actual girl that this is happening to? How is she reacting to it?
Well, exactly. And it's like, they're gonna say, well, I found my niche with YouTube or with Discord or whatever the platform they're using, and that's why I don't have to worry about that. I can see them trying.
You can try to say I express myself that way.
Yeah.
But the problem is the whole point of dissociative identity disorder is the whole feeling of that wasn't me. I didn't say that.
Exactly.
So where is that? There's still going to be some underlying thing that it's like, oh, I didn't mean to say that. I didn't say that.
Exactly.
Wasn't me. So did these things just all take over?
Yeah.
What?
Well, because with this type of a situation, that's very possible. That could happen.
Right. But it has to be an extreme trauma.
Yeah.
And it has to be something. And it's like there's still also going to be conflict between the personalities.
Yes.
Not everybody's going to be on board with this, and
they always are this perfect.
Yeah, like I said, there's no confusion, no distress.
Yeah,
and that's
exactly.
the main thing with even if it starts with depression and stuff. Like I said, everything's too perfect. Everything, like I said, the hair, the way she's dressed, put together. Every time she's in front of the camera, everything is too perfect. It is not real. It's not gritty. It's not truthful. It is an effort. That is not real. And that is not gonna, all these people that they just recovered, just saying that they faked it. They admitted faking it. They did it because they watched this.
Yeah.
Because they watched this or something like it, mostly this one, and then
because they saw the attention that is given for this situation
because of the depression. And it's like, if I can understand that, but with depression comes a certain type of look,
Yeah, and that's how you're going to be able to find the fakers,
right? And that is just completely and totally inexcusable for somebody to be taking advantage of.
Exactly, it is
a young crowd that maybe is seeking some help and acceptance. And it's like, not once does she, that I've seen, actually say, they said that to bring it up with your healthcare provider, but I don't see her like giving hotlines or directing people to mental health crisis centers. Or
not once has she mentioned it.
No, like, not that we've seen anyway. But it's like, if it was me, I'd be like, you need to go to this website, go to this website, go to this website, go to this place, call this number, and be like, you need to talk to these people. They can help you.
Exactly.
But it's like, oh no, look at how glamorous this can be. You can be friends with your altars, and it's like, none of those things are your friends.
Yeah.
Anything that separates you, whether it's demonic possession, ghost possession, multiple personalities, altars, none of that takes you away from your true self, and
it does.
None of those things
really does.
are your friends. It's like, that's taking you away from what you need to heal within yourself to make yourself a whole person.
Yes. That's demonic. That's
demonic.
Devilish.
Yeah, it's like a demonic thing. Whether like they want to say it's scientific or what, it's still demonic.
Yes.
It still takes you away from the core truth of yourself.
Exactly.
Nobody's saying anything about spirituality. Nobody's saying, pick up the fucking Bible. Nobody's saying any of this stuff to make yourself whole. It's just, look at me, look at how cool this can be. I can make it look fashionable, and it's like, that's just driving kids down a really dark path.
Oh, it is for sure. Here are the truth bombs.
All right, Neffer bombs.
Neffer bombs. All right, let's get this one finished.
From what I've gathered, the case is still ongoing, with the latest update being that his appeal got accepted, meaning it's just an endless cycle of back and forth with no resolution in sight. Some, however, are saying that Dissociated is intentionally prolonging it. Others, however, point the finger at Sergio. But what seems clear to us here, though, is that both of them are just relying on other people's money to keep this thing going. But most of all, for Dissociated, because every new upload since this dispute started has just been another request for donations to fund her legal fights, which is honestly kind of embarrassing when you consider how she got herself into this mess in the first place. And now it seems like she's treating her followers like an ATM, expecting them to pay for her court battles as if they owe her something.
Some of you might be saying, Soren, what is happening with the Sergio Costa legal case? We've been donating to your Crown Justice fundraiser to help you get your justice against this man who tried to ruin our life. If you don't know what that's about, we have a video called What Happened to Dissociated. We actually have a whole playlist called What Happened to Dissociated that goes over what this man did to us and how they tried to destroy our channel, everything that we've created, and our life, essentially. By you guys donating to that Crowd Justice fundraiser, we are raising money to be able to continue to fight him in court, because he will not give up, and it has been going on for 4 years. 4 years since the first legal letters were exchanged. 4 years, my dude. If you would like to support us, please consider donating to our Crowd Justice fundraiser, which you can find up here and in the description box below. It is crowdjustice.com/case/dissociated. And if you cannot donate, please do not feel like you have to. Don't feel forced to. Don't feel pressured to. We love you just the same, regardless of whether you do or don't. But if you would still like to help, please share that link. It goes a long way. Or even sharing the playlist of, what did he do? Why might you consider helping us out if you can find it in the goodness of your heart to do so? That is just as appreciated by us and does make a huge difference. Use your voice as and how you want to, but we appreciate whatever you choose to do for us.
And if you would like to donate so that we can afford our legal help, we use Crowd Justice, which takes the money that you donate and sends it straight to our lawyers. It bypasses us completely. We're not allowed to touch it. Doesn't come into our bank account. We can't use it. And it can only be used by our lawyers for this case against Sergio Costa. That is how the Crowd Justice platform works. It's only for fundraising legal cases. And if you would like to donate or share the link, that would be so helpful for us. Thank you so much. And that is at www.crowdjustice.com/case/dissociated.
Thank you so
Now, this has been a video that I've really tried to put a lot of time and effort in. As you can see, it's also a rather lengthy one. But I really did just want to make this one video to highlight how ridiculous this situation is and bring up some key points on how this is hurting the community. Even random kids who are on the internet watching this. Obviously, when people say, why even bother make these videos? It's harmful. It's actually doing the opposite. It's harmful that people are posting videos like this in the first place, as we saw clear-cut evidence right here in this video. So I guess all I can ask you guys to do, if you wouldn't mind, is just leave a comment or even a like. It helps put up the video in the algorithm, and I would appreciate it a hell of a lot. And lastly, before I end the video, I do want to give a massive shout out to Michelle. She did such an amazing job on this video, helping me find a lot of information, and of course, even doing some of the voiceover as well. She does very similar content to me, and in fact, I'm sure you guys would find it extremely interesting. I'll leave a link to her channel in the description down below. With that all being said though, hope you guys have had a fantastic week, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.
Do you use neopronouns?
Nope.
Well, even though the
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that it says it all, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, you could tell she was doing it for the money.
And yep, money and attention. And
Yes.
yes. Too much, too pristine, too perfect. You know, it was like, and she's getting money for it. I'm gonna see. I don't know if I've been to her YouTube channel or not. I'll have to check it out.
Yes.
And see what I haven't, because I haven't personally seen any of the stuff that she's been going over. But the stuff that he presented there was all perfect. You know,
it was. It for
like,
sure was.
It just doesn't look like that. Mental health is not a pretty thing.
It really isn't, ladies and gentlemen. And what goes along with any mental health, if you need help, always reach out to a friend.
You know, maybe not a friend. Maybe just seek out actual
medical,
legitimate help. Yeah,
yes.
Because sometimes your friends are assholes and they don't actually help you do anything.
It's very true.
But like, I think that if she wants to pursue something in her life, why doesn't she just pursue becoming an actress? You know,
that would be perfect
or
for her.
Or a playwright. Obviously, she's really good at making characters up and having whole backstories for everybody and everything, and just do something with that. Do your own YouTube skits or something. You know,
exactly.
You know, but come on, these names like Soren and everything. It's like, come on, you can tell that that's like from like dragon movies and shit. You know, it's like she
or
watched,
from like Elon or something.
It's like she watched some kind of fucking medieval fucking movie, and it was like, no, I'm gonna create a character off of that. You know? And
For sure. I mean, that's what it sounds like.
She was missing for like a whole year, and so they gave her time to practice and to. It's like, you're not like actually helping anybody.
No.
Right? Even if she was faking it, and there was something that she's actually doing that was actually benefiting somebody else, I would totally be okay with it.
Exactly.
But it's just like, oh, look at me, and look at this is what I have to suffer with, but you're not really suffering.
And she's making fun of people that really do have these disorders.
Totally different thing.
Yes.
You might have an alter that might like to doll up and put on makeup, and
Yes.
but what are the odds that they all are going to be that way? You know, I mean,
like 0 and 6.
you know, and I watched the mannerisms for all of these different characters, and most of them are exactly the same. Like the way that she
Exactly.
stands, the way that, you know, she might just say some different things, but for the most part, the way she stands, the way she turns to the side to talk about this
Yeah.
and turns to the side to talk about that, and cocks her head this way and cocks her head that way, that's all the same.
It really is, yes.
So,
that's exactly right.
So I call cap on that, as they say, as the
Cap.
Gen Alpha say, and it's like don't fall into things like that. If you're suffering from depression or any sort of like mental situation,
Yes.
look into it, do your research, and find some help. Because
And don't be embarrassed if you have to do mental health work, if you have to go to somebody. I mean, just take care of yourself, especially if you have kids or
right. Yeah, like depression is a bitch. Depression is really hard, and you know, like postpartum depression, it's really, really hard. And sometimes people can create multiple personalities after that.
Yes.
You know, shit happens, but
it really does. I mean, fully.
I mean, a lot of the times, if you're eating well and you're getting good exercise and stuff, it'll go away on its own.
Yes.
But if it's just like not, you know, you need to look into that.
Yeah, then you need to find out what's going on.
I spent about 18 months being like chronically depressed back when I was like 25, I would say.
Yeah.
And about 8 years ago, I spent 3 weeks in bed, just straight in bed, not getting. I was playing Tropicats like every fucking day for 3 weeks, and
it was a bad time for us all.
Yeah,
I mean,
and once I started actually going outside and walking, it just cleared up. You know, you get a purpose, you find a thing to do, you're reminded you have something to take care of, and then it falls into place. And a lot of it is just youth stuff. You know, if you're young, you have those issues, it gets better. You know, it gets better. And life is worth living. It can be tough, but it's worth living.
I fully agree. You know, for us, our kids are what really drew us out and made life that much more.
Yep, I had my animals.
Yep.
You know, it's like
animals are always there too.
It's like I had not just a gerbil, but you know, I had animals that actually required to be out there consistently every single day to work with them, and
that's just
they force you to be in the moment. And like I would suggest for most people dealing with depression and stuff, the horses are really good.
They are,
because they help you not only be in the moment, but to have that moment of escapism as well. You know,
that's what you had.
And
that's the main thing.
And then when you're ready to progress to the next level, then I recommend working with predators, because they too make you be in the moment, and you have to be in one spot.
Exactly.
So it's like you just graduate through the different types of animals that are out there. You know, you do. Like training dogs is different than training horses, and working with exotics is different than being with dogs. So it's like, you know, you go through the steps, and you'll God, that'll cure anything.
Oh, it will for sure.
Because you'll realize that you're just here to serve, you know, and if you're not here to do it, who else is going to do it? And
that's exactly right. And then also find the one that you love.
Mm-hmm.
You know, find your other side, your partner.
If you have your family, you know, like yes, if you have children, absolutely, that's like the ultimate. But just don't do that before, you know, like, I mean, obviously, if you already have them, work through it, but don't just like have them to try to escape your depression,
to become happy.
Right, and start with the animals, and then you know, work your way. But
because kids can cause a lot of pain too.
And like if you have, like I said, if you have depression, this first like 6 weeks or so after giving birth, it feels so much worse. Even if you know it's coming, like the past time that I had, it was really, really bad. It was like I was not in a good place. I wasn't happy.
I can't imagine. I
knew it was coming. Yeah. Because I knew I struggled with depression, and it was fucking goddamn winter, and I knew it was gonna hit.
I saw you there.
And you know, but I knew it would pass. But if you don't know that, I guess I can see why people would cling to that and become like a regretful parent.
For sure, yes.
Because they would just never like get over that, I guess.
No, they would not.
That's what I mean. It's not a pretty thing.
No,
You
it's
know?
not.
It's,
It
it's
really
like
isn't.
these people that make it look glamorized and make it look like a pretty thing, that just bugs me.
I mean, life in general cannot be pretty sometimes.
No, but
You could feel like you are trapped, like you are in a situation you can't get out of. But, you know, life is short. You have to live it and you have to be.
it can be really long too. It can be really long. It can be like each day can really drag out. That's where
Yeah.
you and I differ because I don't feel like, yeah. I don't know. It's definitely worth doing though. And you
Yes.
have to have a spiritual perspective. If you do not have a spiritual perspective, then none of it seems like it's worth it.
Exactly.
And-
That's the biggest thing.
And everybody right now, everybody's living in a state of fear, and they're saying that this is going to be taken from us and that's going to be taken from us, and they're going to destroy our wildlife, they're going to destroy our national parks. And it's like, live in your lane, live in your space, and take a look around and
Yes.
see the good. Fucking force yourself to see
the
the
good. Yes.
You know, I don't give a fuck, like, what it takes. You just see the good, and it's like
Exactly.
it doesn't fucking affect you. These
Yep.
people that you never. I would kill myself before I lived in fear of the government, like having that much of a play
Yes.
over to be afraid of them to what I could not do. It's bad enough that I fear animal control.
Oh, I know.
You
And
know,
that is bad.
I hate myself for that.
That is
it's
bad.
Like, it really bothers me. That's my cross to bear. You know, it's like
Yes.
I can't stand that I'm that afraid of a government entity telling me what I can and can't do. But they've had a literal effect.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but
Yes.
the president has never ever come down here and affected
No.
me. The
Has
goddamn
never.
governors have never come down and affected me. I'm going to live my life in accordance with my laws and with the governing forces of my gods.
Yes.
If I go out to their world, I'll follow their rules.
Exactly. Caesar.
This is, yeah.
You know?
But this is my domain. And here, like, I'm gonna live here. Just because it happens out there, it doesn't mean it has to happen here.
Exactly.
And that's what you have to do. That's the only way. You have to make your stand in this life and see the goddamn good. You
Yes.
know, I can't stand people that only see the negative shit. It's like, come on, get your shit together.
I love Nefer's advice.
You know, I'm a little mean about it, but there's too much softness in this world.
Yeah,
There's
is.
too much people saying, "Oh, well,
Oh,
you're
I
perfect the way
fully
that you
agree.
are," and it's like, you're not perfect the way that you are. You have to refine yourself
Yes.
and get your shit together.
I mean, I saw the niceness and what people try to do and the candy coating and all of this. I agree. There is way too much niceness in this world.
You were way too weak.
Yeah.
It was not good.
It doesn't help you.
No. And it's like, you got to make your stand and see the good in the world, see the beauty in
Yes.
the world, you know, and stop saying that it's like so fucking toxic and it's so ugly and it's so horrible. It's like, really, it's like I walk out and I see the birds and I see the
Oh
blue
my God, I
sky
know.
and I see the grass growing. I see everything turning green now, you know. It's like you make it, you see it.
Yes.
you
Make
know?
sure that you see nature. That is the
Yeah.
number one thing.
Yeah, the Buddhists say you must see green for at least 30 minutes a day.
Yes.
You know, like preferably actual like grass, but if anything, at least the color green you need to see for at least 30
Oh
minutes
God,
a
yeah,
day.
you do.
And
And that is even more so within the winter months.
right.
When you
That's
are
so
in
hard.
bleak conditions, you are in snow, you are in this, you are in that. There's nothing else but white, and it's all in front of you.
Dead.
Find a way to see green.
Yeah, I don't care if you have to paint it on your wall and look at it. You
Yeah.
know, but and the other thing is to be still and know to sit
That-
still and breathe and just
That is a
be.
hard one for me.
Yeah, I know. You wiggle all the time, and it's like you'll never heal, you will never know unless
Yeah.
you're completely still. And it's like a lot of people just try to keep going and keep their mind off of stuff, and it's
Yeah.
like you can't do that because it will catch up to you when you go to lay down for bed. You know, So
Exactly.
it's like, let's sit down, and let's say if you're meditating and these intrusive thoughts come, don't try to push them away. Just like sit there and be like, yeah, hey, I acknowledge you. We're gonna talk about that later, and push it. And just let it keep on going, and then you know it'll work out. It's gonna be
Oh yeah, it
it's
will.
gonna be fine. But you know, look at green and sit the fuck still.
Yes.
All right, that's enough of that.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for another awesome take on the woke mindset.
Yeah.
You know, we've got a lot more stuff, and this Friday is going to be a super good one. We got the things about all these planes that are falling out of the sky recently.
Yeah, there's one in Arizona.
And takes on what it could possibly be. I hope that more people show up so we can discuss it. Show me your point of view. What do you think it is?
I have a conspiracy theory even about the fires that were happening in LA.
I know.
Like,
and here.
Yeah. Well, yeah, for sure.
I mean, we had him here.
But I don't know. I don't know if it's the same. I don't think it's the same thing that I'm thinking that it was, because what I'm thinking it was in LA had to do with the drones directly. So, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different things.
Yep.
So I'll be happy to discuss it all, and I'm gonna find some stuff. If you guys have any footage that you would like to show me for this Friday's episode, well, my email is right there. As I'm telling you, it's scrolling by. I can see it. So send it over. I'll check. And namaste, ladies and gentlemen.
That bugs the shit out of me.